let's say you like a girl, you like hair and all, but actually, what are you relating to? You're not relating to her hair or eyes or anything. You're relating to energy, to her energy. So when you're relating to her energy, no matter how you like her, how you try, whatever you communicate, because you relate to energy, if your frequency, her frequency does not match, no matter how much you try to reconcile your differences, the relationship will not stand, because energies repel. Frequencies don't match. There's no equal give and take. You teach her, tell her, entertain her, she cannot return because her frequency is lower. You, by giving, being in this giving, loving mode, you will eventually, by not getting it back, start feeling resentment and frustration that you can't even explain. And why? Because resentment means you don't get anything in return energetically. That's why a lot of people love bomb other people, just to get them to say that they love it. And then they think, this is what I also recorded today about, that this I love you becomes like, or I care, it just becomes like a key to your energy system. Because they don't mean it, you mean it. Because when you say back, you mean it, because you're an authentic or autonomous being. You mean that, but they tell you I love you just to get your supply, to get attention, to get validation, to get energy. So sooner or later, they will continue telling you, I love you. You will start resenting these words. You will start saying, fuck off. Like, don't bring me these flowers. Don't do me, because you energetically will be exhausted. The flowers will think, or whatever, I don't know, they'll clean your house, whatever. If it's a female, she'll do something. But if she doesn't input that, you know, or puts in, if she doesn't put in her energy of love, just does it superficially, but doesn't actually mean it from inside, sooner or later, you will start feeling such a resentment and anger you wouldn't be able to explain. And it's because your body, emotional body is exhausted, because you don't receive that energy. You receive the act, but not the energy. They say, yes, I love you. Okay, hi, darling, bye, darling. But nothing comes to you energetically. So this is the way people vampirize each other. So they kind of create an illusion of giving, but in reality, they are not giving you absolutely anything. And sooner or later, you observe that you become passive-aggressive, resentful, unhealthy, because you keep it to yourself, because you can't pinpoint what's wrong, because they kind of do everything right on a superficial level. But on a subtle level, and life is a subtle level, they do nothing. They don't give you anything, but you genuinely actually give them love. So because of this unequal give and take, you give them love, they give you an act of love, which is devoid of that energy. You start feeling misalignment. Sooner or later, frequencies will repel. And the breakup is inevitable. It may happen sometimes even over 20 years, 40 years, but it will definitely happen, because sooner or later, people will feel depleted, or they will start looking elsewhere for love and for supply, or they will just simply become sick. They will become so ill because of this kind of depletion that they will just start suffering and suffering and suffering, because there will be a lot of resentment that is not going anywhere. So is this really love? It's questionable.
Yeah.
The
input energetically on my side is more than I'm getting back.
Exactly, because you're a real being and they are not. Why not? Because they're not in touch with their authentic selves, because they're half beings. Half being meaning they act like a being, but they're not in touch and aligned with the soul. So the frequency is different. The frequency is superficial. Your soul requires the same frequency as you are giving, and you're not receiving. So that's why it creates misalignment. And it's going to go, it's going to be relevant for most of the spiritually inclined people, not in a superficial way spiritually inclined, but people who are on their true spiritual journey, they're very authentic, they're healed or healing, they are more aligned, more healed, more balanced, and kind of they clearly define for themselves what they want. I would advise you to write down your observations about your inclinations, your desires, because the clearer you become, the more clear you become about others, the more you filter unnecessary people from your life. And it doesn't mean that you're snobbish or arrogant. It just means that you don't waste your time on people who are not of the same kind of frequency. And like-mindedness is not a superficial thing. It's very rare, actually. It's sharing the frequency. It's a connection where, you know, after talking to these people or spending time, you feel fulfilled. Yeah. If you feel drained, it's not a right connection, because they definitely benefit from your intelligence, knowledge, or care, whatever you give them. But you, unfortunately, do not receive the same in return. And so when you observe these kind of moments, it is more than a red flag. It is a flag that says break up. Cut it off, because it's not for you. It is soul depleting, or soul, how would I put it? There is a word, like it's a soul, it's a destructive, it's destructive for the soul, first of all. So why to pursue relationships which are destructive for the soul? Superficial people seek attention and validation, and for them relationship is at a level of a need for that supply. And as long as that supply is there on the material, superficial level, all is hunky-dory. But for a person who is deeply aligned with the soul, that is absolutely nothing. That's not even called a relationship, because a relationship means you relate to their energy and they relate to yours. Where is a relationship where their frequency is on one level, your frequency is on the other? There is no relationship there. Action does not mean the relationship. You can sleep with people, you can give them flowers, you can receive flowers, you can do things together, clean houses, I don't know, arrange your places, help each other at work, and etc. But these are just superficial action. What do you give as a being? What is your emanation when you're with this person, right? And what they're giving to you, because that will make you feel either fulfilled. And how do you know? What is the criteria of fulfillment? Peace. You feel as yourself, as a autonomous unit, and what is that, subject, at peace, and they feel at peace. That's how you connect. That's how you know that when you are together, you are as well at peace as when you were alone or by yourself. And so when this is not there, when you sit with them and watch a movie or do something, there is this underlying anxiety or some sort of a feeling, I'd rather do by myself, I'd rather be by myself. There is misalignment in frequency. Either they're not open enough, not sincere. And what is sincerity? Sincerity means they're authentic. So they're somewhat guarded. How can you build a relationship with a guarded person? You can't. If you are guarded and they're guarded, it means there is some kind of an obstacle in between this proper energy flow that's supposed to be there. There is no proper energy flow. There is a limitation. And then sooner or later, this limitation will become a barrier or a red flag that needs to be addressed, either dissolved, put off, or it will lead a relationship to a breakage. And so without understanding these aspects, the subtle aspects of relationship or relationships in general, people just play games. They act superficially. That's why they drive everyone crazy around themselves, because people feel that passive aggression or some sort of superficiality, which the more you become authentic and aligned, it just makes you puke. It's disgusting. So again, the choice is yours. It's always a choice of the soul. That's why people should not be pushed into just be with whoever because it's just cool. It's trendy, because you attach to other people's bloodlines, karmic residue, negative, positive energy, their demons, their infections, and so on and so forth. So you just it's such a big deal. And if you jump from one person to the other within a month or two, it's absolutely devastating for the soul, for the body as well. So a lot of people
Horrible.
are not what they appear to be. A lot of people have a lot of negative attachments from the collective. Sometimes they're possessed by these negative attachments, and when your soul looks at their soul, you perceive this information instantly, and you feel this sort of a fear. The fear is the indicator of negative energy, demonic energy of some sort, unrefined, dirty energy. That's a warning, because they can be smiling, dressed up well, looking well, but your own consciousness yells danger.
Yeah.
So be very aware of this.